Hello everyone, so the Skippies are going to be at the Hungaroring for the first time this week, and I have done a couple of sessions already and it fits the Skippy pretty nicely. It is drafty in a way that it is quite easy to stay with a driver ahead even if he's quite a bit faster. However, it is quite tough to pass. There's pretty much one clear passing place, and that is into T1. However, you can find some different places to pass as well, but it is rather a difficult track to pass, so easy to follow, hard to pass, so it's gonna make for some interesting races. And the whole track has a pretty nice flow to it just for driving it or hot lapping as well, so it's gonna be quite enjoyable this week. Okay, starting P13 out of 17 cars.
Green flag, green flag.
Pretty bad start from that guy.
Clear on the right. Right side, you're in the middle, 3 wide. You're in the middle, 3 wide. Clear on the left, 2 wide.
You don't like to be in the middle in T1 on the first lap.
Stay on the left. Clear on the right.
Oh, that's looking close between those guys.
Car right. Keep to the left. Clear on the right. Go left.
We have some rally drivers here.
Car on your left. Still there. On the right, 3 wide. Car on your left, 2 wide. Car right.
Kind of
Clear
saw
on the
that
right.
coming from the inside.
Left side. Clear on the left.
I just kind of felt like that was gonna happen. Hope I'm not damaged. So I get to go again from the back. I just had a feeling about that guy on the inside for some reason, like.
Car on your left. Clear.
Okay, this guy's a little bit too slow.
Car right. Clear.
We go for them.
I think there are 2 fast guys in this race, so P1 is most likely gone a long time ago.
Car right. Clear on the right.
But who knows, P3 might still be on, even with that little accident we had there. So this session is a little bit slower in terms of lap times compared to the previous 2 that I've had. I think it was actually like 6 degrees higher track temperature, and I can already feel the grip difference here. Seen a lot of Japanese drivers here today. Either they like Hungaroring or there is a little bit of a boom going on in Japan. 10. This guy a little bit suspiciously late on the brakes. Track seems to be really quite a bit worse than in the previous sessions. It's just so many mistakes from people ahead. So this track, while it is pretty easy to stay in the draft of a faster driver, it's pretty tough to pass here, so let's see how much more we can progress here.
Car on your left. Clear on the left.
So this guy, Gianfranco, is pretty early on the brakes. Got it almost alongside him from that far back. Still see quite a lot of cars ahead, so I think we have visual with quite a high position. Have to be careful with that right side. There's a slowdown actually there as well. Got away with the one next this time, but
Car right. Clear on the right.
just testing him a little bit. Seems like he's pretty defensive. This mess up might have kind of... No, I think I'm still gonna get it, but I was gonna get a pretty good exit here already and gonna get an easy... was gonna get an easy run, but luckily it still works.
Keep to the right. Clear on the left.
I still see a pretty big group of cars ahead of those two ahead as well. So if I get past here quickly, then there's still a chance to gain quite a few positions.
Left side. Stay on the right. Still there, hold your line. Stay on the right. Clear, left side.
Yeah, I think it's... they're not the slowdown even. But somewhere there is a slowdown. That was a bit of a risky try, but kind of wanna get past this guy quickly. I'm just experimenting a little where you can actually pass on this track.
Now on your left. Stay on the right. Clear on the left.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so the leader is definitely gone, but P2 is not too far. However, Victor Rosset isn't the slowest driver leading that group, so that group is gonna have some pace. Let's see what kind of lap times we can do in this session. So far, 2:05 only. Yeah, one axis will gather up quickly in this on this track. Looks like the track is pretty dirty because I have to tear off visor so often as well.
Now on your left. Keep to the right.
Not really the way I usually pass, but testing him, and he did leave the door open, so let's go.
Clear.
Close with the 1x. caught him with almost perfect timing. Had to slow down a little bit on this entry.
Now on your left. Stay on the right. Clear on the left.
So interestingly, Victor is not that fast in this race, I think. Did qualify with a pretty slow lap time, so maybe it's his very first session on this track, so he's still learning. Yeah, safety rating is going down. Let's see about that fastest lap on the next one now. Previous lap was pretty scrappy. Ah, it's messed up my shift. Ah, gave away 2 tenths right there. .5 seconds. Victor might be damaged. He's high enough of a driver that he should be learning the track by now if it's his very first session. Even with no practice. Oh my god, there is one next there. I didn't know that, but now I know.
Got 2 laps to go.
Okay, a pretty decent lap, but yeah, pity about that 1x.
You got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Oh no, they're fighting. This is gonna be a good lap with no draft. Taking the outside curve is pretty dangerous.
Right flag, stay through. Left side. Keep to the right. Keep to the right. Clear on the left.
Oh no, he's gonna dive back. Don't think there's gonna be a chance to pass Victor anymore though. There might be one place. And he makes a pretty nice mistake here. Because this next corner is exactly where I can still make the move. However, he defends the inside, so
Car right. Still there. Clear.
nah. Yeah, if you don't get the move done there, there's nothing you can do in those final corners anymore. At least against a very competent driver. So P4 there at the end pretty much had to climb all the way through the field almost twice, so a little bit of an accident there in the beginning, but all good in the end. No damage to the car, and I was able to continue, and yeah, almost even got the podium with Victor being right in front of me at the end. But let's have a look at the fastest lap now. So we are going to be taking a look at lap number 10 in the race. It had a 1x somewhere, I think, but it was pretty much irrelevant. It was a pretty nice clean lap, and it will be a good one to talk through. So T1 brake marker either 100 or this line, which is a little bit past the 100. Yeah, it seems like I come on the brakes just pretty much at the line. Straight line braking, obviously. Turn in late and still dropping speed when I'm turning into the corner. A little bit on the throttle already, but the speed is still dropping, I believe. And this corner is a little bit more than a U-turn, I think, so it feels like you should get on throttle when you first get on this track. And in the first races, I just went wide here all the time because it felt like I have to be on throttle already, but you actually have to wait a little bit more. So at the apex, I'm pretty much already starting to get near full throttle. You can cut this one pretty nicely and just play with the throttle to not lose the rear too much here. And yeah, as soon as I'm past those curbs, I go on full throttle, and this one was pretty much on the edge. I think it allows for a little bit of going over onto the green stuff, but I think this one might have been pretty close on the 1x. I haven't really, not sure about all the 1x's where they are exactly, but I think this one is already on the riskier side. This one here, obviously make the entry as wide as you can, so using all this curb here. And pretty much as soon as I get on the curb, a little bit past the beginning of the curb, I get on the brakes, and there are very many different lines here. I see a lot of people turning in late. However, I feel like it's not gonna help you too much because you can't really. It's like you can't just get on the throttle right away as you turn into this corner. So I don't think it's gonna help that much to go that wide into this corner. And if you're gonna go in tight, you can still get on the throttle pretty early here because you can choose to go wide here. It's not gonna change your line into the next corner too much. It's not gonna scrub off too much speed. And yeah, there's just many different lines through here. You can experiment what works for you. And I kind of like them more a little bit on the inside line, but not entirely sure about it. Maybe if I enter wider, it could be a bit faster. Try to get a little bit to the left as soon as possible also, but you don't need to go all the way to the left side because this next one isn't really a corner, so you will make it through here with pretty smooth driving anyway and won't lose too much speed. This next one, obviously, again, entering as wide as possible, and braking is, again, as soon as you get on the curb, I come on the brakes here. I think you can make it through here in fourth, but I just don't like to stay in fourth because I kind of understeer, and you don't really want to go right here because the next corner is going to be to the right and you want to get to the left as soon as possible. So it is better not to understeer to the all the way to the right side here. So turn in, cut this curb quite a lot. However, that's pretty much on the edge with the 1x. You go a little bit more to the inside here and you will get a 1x. So I'm in third at the moment, and I think I go right back into fourth here. Actually, let's see that one. So yeah, pretty much I'm just going in third for the corner entry, and here at the apex I'm already shifting into fourth. So I go pretty wide here, but that's good enough. On some of those laps, I've managed to turn in later into the previous corner, and I actually don't even hit this curb on the right here, so it can be done a little bit better than on this lap. So again, you want to get as close to the grass here as possible. I am a little bit late out of the previous corner, so I don't get all the way to the left here. And this one is an uphill corner, and so it works kind of like camber, so you're going to push a little bit more speed here than you think you would want to. And this uphill will just catch you, and it pushes your car into the ground, so you have more grip than usual. So you can take a lot of speed in here and just hold up that speed, and your car will simply grip up and you will get through this corner nicely. This next one, I see a lot of cars, the cars ahead also, they're not really taking this curb on the left. And I think it's pretty important to get on this curb. It's a pretty smooth curb, it doesn't really disturb your car or anything, and it will just widen the entry through this tight chicane so much that it's just very, very useful. Braking point, again, pretty much as soon as I get on the curb, a little bit later, and I get on the brakes, I go into first corner, turn right, you can cut this inside here pretty widely in the skippy, and pretty much how much I would like to cut it, so the 1x is pretty nice here for the skippies. The left side, I go a bit wide, but doesn't matter, it will still be fine on the exit, and you can cut this one also kind of, as soon as you go over this middle part, maybe then it's when you get the 1x, but it was fine on this lap. However, I think this section is here actually where I got the 1x on this lap for the first time in many sessions. So yeah, from the outside of the right side here. So there is a 1x here, but I don't know. That was the first time I ever got it, and I don't think it really gave me that much of a better lap time, and it doesn't happen too often. So just so you know, you can get an 1x here on the exit as well. This one, not really a brake marker, pretty much by the feel, and I think turning in, obviously you want to stay on the left again because the next corner is to the right, so you kind of want to turn in late, but every time I turn in a little bit later, I kind of start to get understeer and start to go wide, so it's just aim for an entry where you just, again, cut this curb as much as possible. However, again, there is a 1x here somewhere, and I think this one is pretty close here. So this is pretty much how you want to do it. And again, stay off the throttle until you're on the curb, otherwise you will understeer. And as soon as I'm actually quite a bit under the throttle here, and when I'm getting onto the curb, I get off the throttle, and as soon as I'm off the curb, I get full throttle again. And this one, this session actually had 36 degrees track temperature, so it was pretty bad in this one. 202.6 isn't really a great lap time this week. It was in this session, however, I've had a session where I actually did a 201.8 with no draft, so the conditions are gonna be better in many of the sessions, and mostly as soon as I exit this corner, I actually go into third, and in those better sessions, I've also stayed in third. So get as left as possible, and kind of enter this corner pretty late, I feel like, and lose a lot of speed right away on the entry, and then start accelerating early. Also, it doesn't really do any harm if you even get on top of this part of the curb. It doesn't really push you wide, so that's kind of fine. And yeah, you can actually use quite a bit of this green stuff, but there's also 1x here somewhere. But quite a bit of my car on the green stuff, so it's fine on this lap. Again, get a little bit to the right here into the next corner because you want to be on the left side for that next corner again. So this corner is a little bit tricky. So I had a race where I was behind Pablo Aespes and Christian Perez, and they used this curve very aggressively. They went all the way to the left here, and I don't know, I've been trying to do this, but it kind of unsettles the car. Also, if I stay completely off the curb, as soon as I start to turn in and my left rear touches this curb, it's like it pumps the car straight again, so you get understeer on corner entry. So I think the best for me so far has been just using this curb a little bit, but not all the way to the left. And on this lap, yeah, I'm pretty much on the middle of the curb with my left tire, maybe a little bit over, but not really going all the way to the grass because that seems to just unsettle the car on the entry very much. And somehow a pretty early turn-in works pretty great here. So I'm already aimed at the corner here pretty early, and I actually did see, because as soon as you get off the curb, you get a little bit of like a slide. So I'm trying to turn into this corner already. It's like I'm early, but however, as soon as I get off this curb on the left, there's this little bit of a slide that throws me away from the apex. So you kind of try to aim an early entry, but this curb, if you take it, it will just throw you off a little bit. And also, it's not bad in this corner to climb on top of this one a little bit. And I do take third gear on the entry again, and I get into fourth again as soon as possible. This one, you can go all the way to the left here. I think the 1X starts pretty much on the edge here again, I think. And yeah, you can be all the way on this curve even with your right tire, and this is gonna be fine. Now braking into this corner here again, pretty much braking right as soon as I get on the curb, so pretty easy to remember all the braking points on this track, luckily. I go into first on the entry, and again, pretty much as soon as I'm starting to get out of the corner, I shift into second right away. And it's also quite fine to cut this part even here, if you do manage to get the turn in here. But again, 1X somewhere here, but quite a lot of room to cut here. And most of the time, I think in this corner also, I haven't really had a 1X here, so I think I can push a lot more speed through here and use this side a lot more here. So there's some room to push here. That was definitely on the safe side here. I think the 1X was also somewhere pretty far here. So this final corner, again, get as wide as possible. However, I think I tried even wider a couple of times, and this part already starts to get you a little bit sideways on the entry, and you don't really want that. So again, a lot of different lines through here. You can enter wider, but I don't know. I go quite tight here, and it seems to work pretty nicely. Just carry a bit speed into the corner, and then see in the middle of the corner here, I let go for a moment. I get that rotation, and then I get back on the throttle. This final corner is a little bit tricky. It's like you feel like you really want to go wide on the entry again. However, as soon as I go really wide, it just feels like you start to lose grip, and you don't really have the grip as soon as you go a little bit wide. So there's pretty much no braking here. I'm very slightly on the brakes here on the entry, but it's pretty much just crubbing off speed a little bit and just trying to maintain a little bit of that speed into that apex. Just play with the throttle, try not to get too much onto this curb because it can lift up your inner rear tire and you will get wheel spin, and you really don't want to get that when going onto a long straight. And I think I'm actually on the inside a little bit too much here on this lap, so try to aim your inside tire onto this line and it should be perfect. And yeah, I think that was a little bit on the safe side again. There is a little bit of more room to use this green stuff here on the outside, and this lap is going to end up being a 202.6, which again, the session conditions were a little bit not so good in this session. So don't compare the lap times between sessions too much, and just compare yourself to the drivers that you are in the session with. And yeah, enjoy the races and good luck.